thank you so much for tuning in, and if you're new, welcome. So I'm going to be showing you how I got this look right here. Super cinnamony and glowy and perfect for fall. I'm going to be using my SEINT makeup, which I am still absolutely in love with. I actually haven't used anything else since I posted that other video. So this tutorial is going to be very beginner friendly. I'm going to try not to edit out a lot of the blending and all that stuff because that's the good part. If you don't want to see it, you can just fast forward through, but I want to make sure that my beginners are taken care of. Oh, and yes, I am a redhead now. Woo. I went copper 8 weeks ago maybe. I have an appointment next week. I'm going a little bit brighter, more orangey. I'm really excited. But I do have a video on like dyeing my hair at the salon and all that I'm going to be posting. Also, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Oh my goodness, it means so much to me. A lot of my subscribers are super loyal. You guys have been following me for a while, or if you just started following me, thank you so much. It really means a lot. I love making videos like this for you guys, so the more the merrier. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I've already prepped my skin with the Smashbox Photo Finish Moisturizing Primer. I really like it. This was obviously a sample, but I've been using it every time I do my makeup, and I'm definitely going to be purchasing the bigger one. Okay, let's do this. So, the way I like to do my makeup is I start out with the darker of my two highlight shades. So this is Goddess and this is Mango. Since I was color matched before, the season has changed. I'm not as tanned, as you can probably tell. So I do use both, but I like to go in with the darker one as a color corrector for around my nose and under my eyes. A little bit of that on my finger, right in where I get that like kind of purpley blue under my eyes, and I'm just gonna blend that out really gently. You don't have to do this. I need to because I have darker circles under my eyes and some redness around here. And you really don't need a lot. And then to help cover the redness, I'm just going to do a little bit of the lighter one, just as a little bit fuller coverage. See? It works really, really well. Okay, so that is done, and now for the good part. So my favorite brush to use to blend out my foundation is actually the Buff brush. I do have the 3D foundation brush. I still use this one for like another blend afterwards, but I find I get the most flawless base, I guess, when I use this. That's just me. If you have more mature skin, if you have sensitive skin, if you have acne skin, with flare-ups that is sensitive, this is going to be too dense for you. I would definitely use the softer 3D brush, but you can see how I use it and see if it might work for you too. I'm going to go in with the darker shade first, so Goddess, with my Buff brush, the larger side, and I'm just going to pick some up like that, and I'm going to kind of stamp it everywhere. Now, like I said, I have to mix two shades together. The original one that I was color matched to, and then the one shade lighter. So this is Goddess. And I'm going to use a little bit of the Mango. Yeah, Okay, good. Follow me. And then I'm just going to blend it out. Using little circular motions. You can also tap it if you want a fuller coverage. Initially, I like to buff it out just to spread it around evenly. I kind of do a mixture of both. Especially since I'm using a mixture of two colors, I want to make sure that they are mixed together well. Alright, now for contour. This guy right here, I'm going to take the smaller end of the buff brush. And, I'm actually going to use my finger. So, like I said in my last video, how you find, you can already see right here, that's where the natural shadow is. That's what you're trying to enhance with your contour. You can also feel for your cheekbone. There's your jaw, cheekbone, right there. So I'm just going to put that in right where I get that natural shadow, because that's what we're trying to enhance. It's just meant to be like a shadow. This isn't a bronzer. You don't want to go crazy like I did in my last video when it was my first time using it, and I could have not used that much. I mean, as you saw, I blended out really nicely, but I also just did a light layer foundation this time first, so I don't need the coverage as much from the contour. Okay, so I just put the contour in between my fingers. I'm going to rub, and that is going to be on the sides of my nose. I've loved doing this method for my nose contour for a few years. No matter what I'm using, I just find pinching with your fingers just gets that perfect snatched nose. And putting a bit more on my fingers, I'm just gonna do that. Alright, so smaller end of the buff brush, and I'm just gonna buff that out. Blending upwards so that I don't go too far down and miss that shadow. See, now that shadow is way more pronounced. That is the point. I'm not super concerned with buffing out my nose too much just yet because we still have the highlight that needs to go in between there. I'm going to use my ring finger and my highlight, which is wheat. And I just tapped it. I did not rub, I just tapped because I don't need very much. So I'm going back in with my buff brush, but the side that has my foundation shade on it, and I'm just going to blend out that brightening highlight. Again, same brush, the buff brush. I'm just going to blend that under my eye. So I just took a little bit more on my finger. I really like the sponge, but I can't find it, and I blame my 4-year-old. She definitely did something to it. I'll find it eventually, I guess. All right. Now for bronzer, I use Bella bronzer, and I'm actually going to use the 3D foundation brush to stamp that on. Now when you're layering creams, especially what I like to do for my blush and my bronzer, since I do those last, is I do stipple it on like this, just so you don't move around any product that's underneath. And it helps with coverage, so you don't need to use as much. That's nice. I'm gonna use a little bit of sandstone. I know that's the one I used in my last video. Sorry, I keep looking at myself, but that's because I like it. But I know it's annoying when you're trying to watch a video, so I'm gonna just keep looking at you guys. I'm gonna go in with sandstone because I really like it. But I have a little surprise for my lips. I know you liked my lip color. Well, it's SEINT. Yeah, that's right. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is in a minute. We'll get to it, promise. But I'm gonna put a little bit of sandstone on my finger. Now, this blush in particular, sandstone, you do not need a lot. Like, I literally just stamped my finger twice and it gave me enough for both of my cheeks. Now, I have the blush brush. I should probably use that instead. Now, just like the makeup, the lip and cheek and all of that is kind of interchangeable. Concealer, blush. So are the brushes. You can use them however you want. So I'm just going back in with my buff brush that has my foundation on it and a little bit of my concealer. Looking good. Okay, so I'm going to take my Huda Beauty setting powder in Pound Cake and my powder puff, my velour, well, velvet powder puff. I got these on Amazon. A pack of like 6 was less than $10, I think. So I'm just going to blend out my under eye with my finger. Got some powder. And there we go. Other side. Now I have like natural creases under my eyes, so I have to set my under eye no matter what, because I have natural folds under my eyes, so kind of no matter what I do, my makeup tends to set in those creases. But like I said in my other video, I know people who don't set this makeup at all. And that's cool, but that ain't me. That ain't me. Okay. So I'm just taking whatever's left. Dun, 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 dun. Hi. I am gonna go in with a bit of powder bronzer. I really like to set my bronzer, my cream bronzer with powder bronzer, or a cream blush with powder bronzer. You'll see. You'll see, it looks really good. I'm gonna use the Hourglass in Ambient Radiant Bronze Light. And I'm just using a really fluffy brush. Now when I set my whatever cream blush I used with powder bronzer, instead of just like a setting powder, you get the color payoff, but it just stays all day with that color payoff. I just love it. My nose contour disappeared a little bit, so I'm just gonna stamp my finger a little teeny eensy weensy bit. And I'm just gonna do that. Boom! Did you see how little I put on my finger? You do not need a lot of this stuff, you guys. I'm just gonna buff that out a bit. Bam! All right, setting spray, I use the Morphe Continuous Mist. They actually have this at Sephora now, so you don't have to buy it online anymore, which is great. Okay, so my highlight is in my other palette, and I use Glamazing. Nope, Georgia. I use Georgia. Now, my 4-year-old dropped it, so she now lives in here by herself with my other powder. Gotta love these kids who mess with your stuff. I'm just gonna use a super fluffy brush. This is from Sigma Tapered Blending E35. Any fluffy brush will do, really. And I'm just gonna put that on my cheekbones. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Some on my finger for my Cupid's bow. Hello. Tip of my nose. And right in between my eyes. So cute. And for my eyes, I'm just gonna go in with Bella Bronzer. Boop. And a blending brush. You want your blending brush to be not as floppy as this one because it is a cream. So I have a more dense one. This one was from Morphe. And I'm just gonna pick up a tiny bit. That's a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp it on both eyes and then blend it out. And I'm gonna put some of the Georgia in my tear duct. Did you guys ever watch What Not to Wear? the makeup artist on that show always put a highlight in between, like on the tear duct, no matter what she was doing or who she was doing. And that just stuck with me. So I always do it. Okay, now for the lips. Yay! So I'm going to take a lip liner brush that I already had. Saint has one too, and it's double-ended. I already have this one, so I'm going to take Bella Bronzer to line my lips. When I do my makeup, it's like standing up in the kitchen or the living room watching my kids, and fast. So you don't have to use a lip brush. You can just use your finger. But now that I have peace and quiet and I'm sitting at my vanity, which never happens, I'm going to take advantage of the brushes that I do have. Okay, so favorite lip combo for the fall. It's called Cinnamon, and it is a highlight shade. Okay, so this is a foundation shade or a concealer shade. It's the best fall lip color ever. And I'm going to prove it. So I'm going to put some on my finger. How pretty is that? It's like a warm, well, it's called Cinnamon. It's a warm nude. And if you have a skin tone similar to mine, finding a warm nude that doesn't look gray on your lips is really difficult. I'm just going to go in with a clear gloss. This one is by NYX. It was really cheap, but I really like it. Like how, I just love this lip color. And if you only use if you have a lighter skin tone than mine, you can use this too. If you have a lighter complexion, like it's just a warm nude. So if you wanted like a darker nude for fall, this is it, you guys, I'm telling you. I just love these. And I got these, well, I'll put in the date of when I first started using it, which was the last video that I posted. So you can see I'm barely hitting the pan on these two. And these are my main highlight shades. Barely hitting the pan. And the rest of them, like, I've barely skimmed. And that was, what, August? It's the end of October. And I use these not every day, but pretty much every day. I'm just in love. I'm so in love. If you guys want to be color matched, you want to try Saint for yourself, just message me on Instagram, or you can fill out my color match form, which I'll link below. But yeah, I mean, you guys, this stuff is just great. So if you want to try it, I'm your girl. Let me know. I will send you your matches. No problemo. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. If you have any questions, if you want to see more videos, specific videos with Saint of how to use something or different colors, just comment down below. Let me know. I'll be happy to do that for you guys. But yeah. Yay.